This is The Fast Break, the ultimate podcast where we dive deep into the world of the MMA Basketball Association. Guiding you through the highs, the lows, and the incredible stories that make basketball more than just a game. Be competitive, be the dogs you know you are, but most importantly, be careful. This is The Fast Break.
We're in the building with another Fast Break pod. So we're missing our producer today, so he'll have to, give us some edits later. But you got your boy BG, and my co-host, Mr. Three-time champion, two-time MVP.
Three-time. I guess that makes me six-time.
6 times. What kind of math is that, bro? What?
I'm adding them together.
He's gonna start calling himself Mr. Six Man.
This crazy. His math be crazy, bro. Yeah, speaking of which, so the voices y'all heard.
We might need some pay increases. Our producer keep calling out.
Yeah, this is all getting crazy, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not getting paid enough for this. Plus, everybody knows I'm the star of the show. I'm kidding. But we got two special guests with a third they'll join us later during the show. So I'm gonna let them introduce themselves. We'll start with the guy whose first name starts with an MA. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, Big Mac.
Got Big Mac in the building, and my guy. He already knows. Man he doesn't really need introduction because he be talking about Free Diddy and all this other stuff. So, but I'm gonna let him introduce himself as well.
For legal reasons, I'm not going to say my full name, just my PlayStation name, just in case the FBI tries to knocking on my door for my allegations. My name is Star Killer. I'll leave it at that. They won't find me.
My guy, Mike. But anyway, so welcome to the pod, fellas. We do have a pod that's like, we're gonna now consider it the Lost Files. We had some preseason rankings that were done, and I'm gonna tell y'all, Ace was way off. I was right. You know what I'm saying? I was right about just about everything. You know what I'm saying? I was right. Ace was way off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of was. I won't say way off.
It was pretty
matter
bad.
Of fact, after we did the ranking, another team got added in. So really, it was a misdeal for real.
Oh, now you're trying to call misdeals. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
it was a misdeal.
he want to throw the hand in. He ain't have no spades type stuff, but he had like 4 spades in his hand. That's crazy. Oh, I'm gonna tell y'all. So I'm not even gonna go over the whole breakdown of the preseason rankings that we had. It was just me and Ace, but I will say this: we've had some surprises. We've seen teams get, at this point, we've now seen every team play at least 2 games. Some teams have played 3. I'm gonna leave this up to our guests to answer this. First off, how do y'all feel about having 7 teams?
I think it's an amazing ad. So I'm looking forward to the season.
Oh,
I'd have to agree with Mac. Honestly, since I've been here, there's been a lot of changes. I've only been here 3 seasons, but to have 7 teams is actually pretty crazy. I'm actually looking forward to it, and we'll see how the standings are. If we had a mess last season, I can imagine this one how it's going to be. We'll see.
Oh boy. If I was
Johnny's waiting too. FYI.
Okay. If I was superstitious and worldly, I'd be saying knock on wood right now. But you can't help it. Somebody's gonna quit at some point. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna happen. We've seen it every season.
Oh yeah.
But that being said, I don't see him in the waiting room, Ace. So just message him to rejoin. He might have left. But that being said, the interesting part was 7 teams. So I don't know if everybody paid attention to this. I'm gonna just bring it up. I did post it on the schedule channel. Not this channel where the teams lock in the games, but the league schedule where you got, guys look to see whose team they're playing for each particular week. So on the league schedule at the bottom, I'm gonna just reiterate this. So each team is going to play the other 6 teams 3 times. So we actually are having an 18 game season, which is the most games we've ever had so far in the league. 18 game season. It's still going to be 8 weeks though. I believe it was 8 weeks or maybe 7 weeks. We did 8 week schedule because we didn't want it to take forever. So each team's gonna play at least 2 games per week, and there's gonna be 2 weeks for each team where they're gonna play 3 games. So that's how you get to the total of 18 games. And then unlike previous season where we had like a break for the playoffs, there's not going to be a break. So the playoffs are going to start following the conclusion of the regular season. You're going to have, and this is where it's going to get interesting. So you're going to have the first and second seed. This is the first time we've done this in quite some time, I believe. I think we did it. No, I don't think we've ever done it. So first time we've ever done it. First and second seed are going to have a bye in the first round of the playoffs. Then the 6th seed, right? If they're within 1 game, so 17, they're going to be eliminated from the playoffs. If 6th seed is within 1 game of seed 5, there's going to be a play-in. The winner of that play-in game, they get to move up, so to speak. They're going to play the 4th seed in the first round. So they get the lower of the 2 remaining seeds that don't have bye. So if you guys follow, 1st and 2nd seed have a bye. 3rd and 4th are now the next highest seeds that will be playing in the first round. So the winner of that play-in between 5 and 6 gets to play the lower seed of those 2. So they get to play the 4th seed. That will be the winner of the play-in. And then after that, the 2 byes, the 1st and 2nd seed, the 1st seed is going to play the lowest seeded winning team from the first round. So just to give guys a brief example, if the 6th seed but a 6th seed wins that play-in game, they then play 4 in the first round. If 6 wins that matchup and they beat 4 and move on to the second round of the playoffs, that means they are the lowest remaining seed. So we're following it just like football. So 6th seed would then play the 1st seed in the second round of the playoffs, and 2nd seed would play the other remaining seed. So just so everybody follows. So we're doing it a little different. We wanted to make it so that just like last season, we want games to matter even to the last week of the schedule, because we didn't want it to be where, we'll just forfeit, the last week doesn't matter. We could probably just skip that week. We want it to matter. So even 6th seed and 5th seed staying within a game of each other, that's going to matter. So
And I've been doing that every season since I've been capped.
What's the forfeiting stuff?
Yeah, go ahead. Y'all got it. I'll see you on the playoffs.
Bruh, your team was hot, man. Your team was hot, bro.
Was hot last season, but guess what? They sucked it up when we won the chip. You know what I'm saying? See,
Nah, bro. I'll never forgive you. Never forgive you.
it's fine. I made up for it.
But so that being said, so with those things in place, we're hoping to have another exciting season where games matter. And so far, bro, we're week 1. We done seen I'm sorry, who is this? Does anybody know who a Daniel Mendez is? Is that Danny?
That's Johnny.
No, Johnny's here. Is that Danny?
Could be.
I'm guessing that's
Well,
Danny.
no, we ain't letting nobody else in. So it is.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're capping it at 5 on the pod, fellas.
We'll get you next time, bro.
Yeah. So that being said, as far as the games we've seen, bro, we didn't see 2 games that felt like playoff games off rip. We're only in week 1. We saw a double overtime game. We saw a game between I guess it was between you guys, right? Mac and Mike, you guys played each other? Was that
sir.
Yes, sir.
Was that the double overtime game?
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah.
Man.
And Johnny was
a
there too,
great
because Johnny played on Crimson Cloud too, right?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna get to that because we can't not introduce, a fellow champion. You know what I'm saying? Welcome to the pod, Johnny, aka Nightwing, aka Don't Leave That Man Open, aka 10 for 11 for what do you have, 20-something points on somebody's head. Leave him open.
22, 21.
You know what I'm saying?
Nice.
Don't leave that man open, bro.
Thank you for introducing myself.
Hey, Johnny. So I'm gonna ask you the same thing. How are you feeling? Like you've been in the league now this is your 3rd season?
Is gonna be my 3rd season. That's right.
How
think it's 4,
have
no?
you seen it? I Did he
No,
join? He might have
the
joined
Yeah,
the
first.
season
because
before you. Like,
he won the season before me. That's four. Because I'm
yeah,
this is my third. Yeah.
yeah. Wow. So Johnny's a vet at this point. So
Mhm.
Johnny, how do you
Dang.
feel? Like you done seen the league with 5 teams, and you saw the debacle last season when we tried 6. What do you think about the 7 team setup that we have right now?
Oh, it's nice. It's a lot better on regards to competition. Having fun, enjoying different types of players. Others have different types of builds that you start learning from all of them, and then you can add it to your to your players. You see some builds that are very, very dominant in some places, and you see how people move the ball and everything. It's been fun. I really enjoyed it. I really do.
So I got
Love
a
to hear that.
question, Johnny. So last season you were a glue guy, and I
Yeah.
don't think you'll be back on that list. I
Why
don't think
not?
you'll be back on that list. No, you're definitely not going to be back on that list.
I,
But
I don't mind at all. I
but
don't mind.
so like, what was the change? I guess, and as far as like what did you figure out? Because you were playing on both builds, like your big man and like I guess it's a two guard. But like, what did you figure out? Like you had help with a shot, or like it's like you just hit a switch and then like you just turned up. Like so,
We just,
like what happened?
we
Well,
just give him the ball more. Yeah.
that
Yeah, yeah, that'll do.
is true too. That is true too. But it was definitely a point when like I said, when I was drafted in the first season, I said I will do whatever it takes for my team to win. So if I needed to change a build to be used for the help on that team that we were going against, I would have done it. And that's what I did. The whole season I was changing builds. They were changing me different positions because of the other teams and all that. But then
Hmm.
I brought my shooting guard that I made. That was the last shooting guard that I made uh, last season that I submitted. And once they saw me playing with it, Miggy and Danny and all of the other guys, they were like, "Nope, you're staying with that bill. You are not changing no more. We want you on that build."
Hey, you
And
was hooping though.
learning how everybody plays, because this is definitely how you can probably stop a little bit of a person and try to hold him, and then learning when to space
Hmm.
out and where to go. It's a learning process, but it was that type of switch. And also they were using me a lot more when they saw me that I can shoot in the pro am. I had never played in pro am in the first season.
Wow.
It was a learning
That makes
process.
sense though.
Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
it was a learning process. Tay, shout out to Tay, my man, the PG that no play is not playing PG this time, but it was my PG. And he was patient enough, and then he started, like, at the beginning we weren't practicing, and then we started practicing, so I had the hang of it. It was a learning process, and now I feel at least a little bit more comfortable.
Man, nah, you
Uh,
definitely look comfortable out there too, bro. I actually kind of want to ask a follow-up question, and this I'm gonna ask this of both uh Mike and Johnny. Because Mac, I just want to make sure. So, well, actually, I'm gonna ask all three of you. Was this league? Is this your first time playing in the league? I'm pretty sure I know the answer for Mac is no, but I just want to make sure.
At least on my end, yeah.
For
No,
What
me,
about
I've been in
yeah.
plenty of leagues.
okay? What
For
about you,
me as
Mike?
well. For me,
Yes.
yeah, it was my first league.
So, give me a second, guys. Come here. Little dog, you gotta go. Um, I guess I'll ask this then. My next question. So, when you guys first joined the league, like, what were your expectations, or how can I put it? How did you compare or think about the league as opposed to, like, just going in and rec with your boys and playing? Like, was it? What were your expectations? What do you think coming in? Let me ask you that for both Mike and John.
Mm. Well, at least
Well,
oh, go ahead, Mike.
no,
Mike.
dale.
In my end, then, it was more to learn and to have fun with other brothers, to see how other brothers play. I usually play with the same people. I can learning all of that, how people move and all that. I like that. I don't know. It is fun. I just enjoy the time. I would like the games to be more earlier, but everybody's free after 10.
You
There's
ain't the only
Okay,
one.
preach.
no team.
You ain't the only one.
Hey,
Yeah.
Johnny, I'm gonna ask you this too before we get to Mike. So, did you think like were the games at first were they more difficult? What obviously now your case, you said you had never played pro am, so I'm assuming there's there's definitely a learning curve there. But like, were you expecting the league games to just kind of be easy, and it wasn't easy, or what was your thoughts that way?
Hmm. It isn't. I have since I've never played pro am. Like, I used to play a couple of games with pro am that people would invite me and all that, but it wasn't like a real thing. To keep on playing pro am every single day, so I didn't know how the competition was gonna be actually. Because playing on the rec, playing with randoms and playing with other people that they don't care. They're just having fun and doing whatever. It wasn't the same type of game. So seeing how people play zone and seeing how others change with different defense and all that, it was challenging. It was tough of challenging. I was learning obviously the 5 out and all that, and it was good. The league was a little challenging. There were some teams that I even they told me throughout the season, no, this team is not going to be that good because of these and that, and I started learning all that. It was entertaining. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm just telling you the truth.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I like that perspective too, because me and Ace always say this. Like, there's times where guys that weren't in the league and this might be their first league, they come in thinking like, oh, it's gonna be easy, or not, maybe not easy, but they have certain expectations of it to go one way, and then it's kind of like that. Yeah, you hit the like we call it the rookie wall. Like, it's like, okay, this ain't so easy. I'm getting game plan for things like
Mhm.
that, all kinds of stuff. So you definitely I will say this. You should have been in the most improved race last season. I
I
think
think he
you
was. He
especially
was.
was okay. He
Yeah, I
definitely
think.
turned up
Yeah,
during like the playoff run for sure.
I think. I
Hmm.
Um
think Mike just won it. Mike was balling. Speaking of
yeah,
Mike, but um,
yeah.
Mike was balling, and
Uh,
Mike did win it. But but Johnny definitely was there. He's putting up numbers. I think the best thing
yeah,
about the league is when it comes to, or like, shooters have the most shelf life in the league. If you can shoot like really well,
yeah,
so Johnny,
yeah,
Mike, Zach, like, y'all are super valued because every
yeah,
team, especially the way like defenses are set up, offenses are set up, you got to account for the best shooter on the team. So
yep,
I mean,
yep,
it's definitely value.
yeah.
Definitely.
Mike,
I think I
Mike,
think
I'm gonna go.
is a lot valuable than only shooting. Having a person that can stop and then shoot at the same time, that is, I think, the best thing that
Hmm.
you can get in the league right now.
Oh,
Yep.
absolutely. Uh, Mike, I'm gonna pivot to you. Same question for you. So, what were your expectations coming into the league, first of all?
Well, to be honest, at first I don't want to be in the league, because
Wow.
we all know Tony was the one that was trying to get me in because he got into the league. He was telling me, "Yo, you should play. It's fun and all that." And I was like, "Yeah, yeah, I'll do it." And then when it came to the draft, when Johnny got drafted, I didn't play. I backed out. I was like, "Nah," it's because I didn't feel because I'm not a how would I say? I'm not a huge no. I feel since I'm more of a soccer person, right? I've always been a soccer fan, so I recently started getting into basketball, like um relatively recently. So I'll rec you do whatever you want, basically, and mess around with your friends. So I kind of got the impression I was like, this is gonna be a league. It's a lot more organized. I don't know if I have the IQ nor the talent for it, and so I kind of like was hesitant, uh, and then by some chance I got actually put on Mac's team because I finally said, yeah, I'll do it, I guess, if they need a reserve. And so I played my first game, which actually went better than I expected. And so, yeah, I'm not saying that I'm like a beast or anything, or I'm like, better than everybody. It's just, it was a lot easier than I expected. And, I realized that I could play, I had no issues. So ever since then, 3 seasons in, and keep going. Honestly, it for me was just the fear of not, being good enough. But hey,
You champ, you good enough, champ. Don't worry about that. um, yeah, me and you became pretty close when we was on that team with Mac. You're my guy, and I think you like. There's no question we don't win the championship without you. Last season, not even a question. And that was my first championship, and I've been playing in the league for like since 2K22. So we don't win that chip without you. I guess you kind of answered the other part of the question. So um, now you pivot from player on a championship where you were part of a unit, you were, how can I put it? You maybe not the best player, a very, very valuable player, but maybe not the best player. To now you're the team rep. Now we changed it from caps to team rep for this season, but you're the team rep. You're responsible for scheduling, but most importantly, I feel like based on what we've seen, it looks like you're a big part of directing the Crimson Cloud. We saw the 3-2 zone with concepts that we run. So there's definitely like some direction coming from you. How does it feel now that you're kind of like steering the boat yourself?
man, I hate the responsibility. I'm not gonna lie to you. Johnny knows this well enough. Even
Oh,
in FIFA, I didn't like
brother.
being.
That's true.
Even in FIFA, I hate being captain, man. The only reason I did it, to be honest with you guys, is because nobody else wanted to do it.
Got you.
But
Man of the people.
yeah, but hey, it's more like we all. That's what I like about my guys. We're all friends, so we all contribute. They suggest, and I listen because
Except for the
I think it's
battery in the
better.
curly hose.
Somebody got me. So yeah, okay. Go ahead, Mike. Sorry about that.
So yeah, that's it. You guys. So everybody has a say, and I just you know I have no issue with it. Everybody brings up solid points, so it's like a mix of everything. Actually, that lineup for that night was even my idea. I'll give credit to Johnny, but he's the one that suggested that we should do the lineup change for the first game because we're gonna go with something completely different. But he brought it
Mhm.
up, and I forgot what other of my guys suggested the zone, and because they actually suggested, he's like, well, you guys ran that a little bit that last season, so I'm pretty sure that you're used to it. And I was like, hey, you're right, so let's try it. And yeah, that's how it is. I just literally just do all the scheduling. I just my team, we all contribute, so it's not just up to me. The less
Gotcha.
responsibility, the more I love.
Well, man, I'm glad they got somebody responsible taking care of the scheduling and so forth. So it's making it the games have been the scheduling part has been very very smooth so far. Um, Now let's turn to Mac. So Mac, your story is a little different here, right? So Mac has gone from um now Mac, if I'm not mistaken, you joined the league through what? It was Shadow and Drewski.
Yeah. My entry into the league was a little bit different from those guys because I was used to playing comp, but I'll get into that once you finish your question.
Okay. Okay. So Mac came in when we were trying to I think we were in the process of like just rebuilding the league at that point. So when Mac joined, we had 5 teams. We had a player who's not in the league anymore, but he was a good player in the league. I'm not gonna act like my guy Austin. He was a top 5 talent in the league. Um, he was the captain of Mac's team, and I think Max was drafted in the fourth round. Your like your rookie season, you were drafted in the fourth round.
Yeah, something like that because I had like internet issues going on. I don't know what was going on, and then when I finally said it was good, then I had a thunderstorm come and it knocked my internet out. I said, "Wow."
Yes, yes. I remember. So yeah, that's exactly what it was. Because I remember. So that season, And then Mac basically, so we had our combine runs, and Mac basically became the radioactive rookie that nobody wanted to touch because they're like, hey, if I draft him, is he going to be able to? He was constantly getting kicked from games, so that kind of started it. He slid to the fourth round, but it was crazy because I remember now. I can't remember if I don't think I was a captain that season. I think the captains were Ace, Renzo, Austin, Division, and somebody else. Maybe I'm not sure. I might be confusing it, but regardless, I definitely remember when Mac was there in the fourth round. I remember thinking like, well, he's the best fourth rounder there by a lot. And I remember he got traded, or the draft pick rights got traded. So I think Ryan like traded with Austin a forfeit that allowed Austin to grab you. So at the time, y'all actually on paper had a very good team. It was you, DJ, Darius, Austin, and George, who's just kind of rejoined the league, as a matter of fact. So you guys on paper had a very good team. But tell us, like, real quick, and it don't got to be long, however long you want, but tell us, like, because you're familiar with comp, you're familiar with running the league. So that first season, how was it really for you? Because that was the corner sitter days. But how was that for you?
Let me take my gum out. So like I said,
He better spill some tea, so you know.
yeah, no, I've ran leagues before. I've been in leagues. I've faced comp multiple times. I've won multiple championships. So the challenge for me wasn't coming into a league just trying to find my footing. I think the challenge for me was first off just coming in and just being a cone. I'm not used to that. I played PG when I won championships and all kinds of stuff. So me coming in, just standing there, trying not to step on people's toes, and just kind of just watching a PG. I mean, don't get me wrong. Austin was a beast. He could score with his eyes closed. But the only problem, I'm like, we're not gonna win a chip like this because he can't shoot. Like every game he'll go 0 for 6 from three or 1 for 5 or 0 for 7. Like I've never been a part of a team where a PG can't shoot, if that makes sense. So the game plan for him was like super easy, in which I'm really surprised a lot of teams couldn't stop it. But I was like, I'm not gonna
There
say
was
anything.
one
I'm just
team
gonna
that could. So no, I'm sorry.
yeah. So I said I'm not gonna say anything. I'm just gonna kind of ride it out, and then once I get my rookie season over with, I'll find my own footing. But anyway, my biggest challenge wasn't even that. It's coming from playing, with people who are, you know, who know what they're doing to come into a league where people don't know how to run zone and just don't know how to run zone, don't know how to run plays, don't know what a Fifi, reverse Fifi is. I'm like, yo, this I'm like, this is insane. So kind of going from that feel of like people knowing what to do to having to coach people on what to do is what my biggest challenge was. So, a prime example, me having a pick and roll big and just my big knowing what to do. And instead of my big being like, oh, where do I go from here? I set the pick. Do I just stand here or do I go to the three? Like they needed to be coached basically. And then yeah, so like basically all my other teammates from other leagues, they know exactly what I wanted. They knew what I wanted to do. Instead of me just getting out there and then I get in this league, I got 5 people cutting, and I'm like, yo, wait for me to call it out. They'd be like, okay. And then next possession, they'll be like, oh yeah, I was open on the cut. I'm like, bro, I just said let me call it out. Like y'all are throwing me off. So the biggest challenge for me was to have to learn how to basically play with people. I don't know how to put it, are that are not used to comp, basically, if that makes sense.
Gotcha. Let me follow up with that. So from your rookie season, like you said, like playing with the PG, you're off ball, you're standing, like you said, as a kind of like a cone, you're in the corner. We all know the I guess I'll say famous, not so famous, whatever, infamous Oz passing out to you, yelling on the stream, I trust him, and then you missed. But from what I remember, I think that might have been your only shot that you took that entire game, if not maybe your second shot the entire game. and that was against.
Yeah.
So
So
for those that
so my two shots was one was a half court lob from a last second shot, and then my second shot was the game winning shot, which I missed.
crazy. So for those that don't know that are new to the league at this point, so Mac's team, they made it to the finals. They were playing against Ace's team. Ace had a very good team that season too. They had Ace, Tay, Miggy, and that's more than enough right there. So they had a very good team, and it came down to I think the series best of five. Ace's team won in three. Mac's team did win a game, and the interesting part was so Mac was playing like 3-and-D kind of role, but mostly the defense part because he wasn't taking any shots. So now the game comes down to literally the final shot. If Mac hits this, I think it was a 2 or 3. I think if Mac hits a 3, they win the game.
It
If Mac
was
hits
a
a 2,
two, yeah.
oh, okay. If he hits a 2,
So
they
if he
win the
hit,
game.
if he hit the two, it would have went to OT. If he,
That's what it
he
was.
didn't have time to step back, but if a three would have won them the game.
Yes.
But
And
yeah,
Austin drives to the basket, and I can't remember exactly how the play, transpired, but I remember Mac being wide open because they knew Mac wasn't getting the ball all game. Austin throws it to him with like maybe a second left on the clock, and Mac just has to basically chuck it up. I mean, he had time to get like a solid shot, but we all know, everybody that plays 2K, literally all of us know, it is extremely hard to have a rhythm or timing rhythm or anything if you have not touched the ball the entire game. And when I tell you this is no exaggeration, Mac touched the ball maybe twice that whole game. He touched the ball twice that whole game. So now we go from that right to now your sophomore season. Was that the season with me, or I'm trying to remember, what was your second season? I feel like that was the season
I think that
with
was the
my
season
team.
with Viz, right?
No, it was with
Oh, you're
the
right.
SWAT team. I just had
Yeah.
a
Right.
unfortunate, I guess, run with bad teams, and that's not Viz's fault. He had a lot of ego on that team. I'll just put it that way. So
Mm,
we had a lot of ego on that team, just a lot of problems, and I'm just getting I'm just getting the bad end of the stick, if that makes sense. So, but I told Viz, I said I'm not gonna quit on you. I'm gonna finish it out, and then once it's over with, I'm gonna be on my way. I'm not gonna lie. So that's how
hmm
that went.
So I remember that season because I remember from my perspective, I saw like, okay, this dude actually can play because I think you ran point PG that season. I remember looking at the stats or this whatever like the box scores, and I remember like you had a bunch of turnovers, right? But I remember looking, I'm like, that's because I watched the games. I'm like, he's getting turnovers because part of it, like his team is all like the offense was so congested. And there was like, like I said, it was you were still getting assists, you were still hitting shots, but the offense just looked so terrible. Everything was so congested.
And
So
that's
in
that's
my
where I came in saying like that's my biggest challenge because I came from championship basketball to do two, three guys cutting it across the court at one time saying I'm open, I'm open. I'm like, bro, I don't know what's going on here, but this is horrible. Like,
yeah, that's tough.
And
So
any
you
PG
get
knows that when you got multiple guys cutting, no matter if one person is open, you ain't going to get the ball. It's it's a block
right.
shot because all three of
And
y'all are bringing them into the paint. So that's
yeah, and I'm
PG
trying to
101.
explain to them like y'all might think y'all are open, but when you got five guys on the court with 95 steal, like they'll pick that off with their eyes closed.
so now you go from so you have your rookie season where you really didn't get to show what you could do pretty much at all. Your sophomore season, there was some promise. I think the third season now, right, is I think we did at that point. So believe it for your third season, it was a reset. So the reset being we had new captains and a draft. So
Yep.
to start, you got drafted. I want to say you were drafted in the second round by Mel. And how did that season start? I know how it started, but just for everybody else that doesn't know, how did that start?
It was horrible because we started off like 0-4 and we didn't even touch the court. So I kind of just went in the chat and said, "Yo, I'm done with y'all straight up." And I said, "Right, put in a trade request for me immediately, please." And then that's kind of when you came in and was like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna trade for you."
Yeah. For those that don't know, when I was capped that season, that was where my first pick. I had the I remember we had 5 teams. I had the 4th pick in the first round. Well, actually, I had the 5th pick in the first round, but I traded with Mel pre-draft to move up to the 4th spot. I think I swapped like second round picks with him or something like that. So I ended up taking YDC in the with the 4th pick. I think the first 4 picks were Ace. I think it was Ace. No, Tay was. This was the shocker. I remember this. The shocker was Tay went number 1 overall. And that was, I believe, the season where Ace was telling everybody he was not going to play PG. So Tay went 1 overall to Bishop. 2 was then Ace to M Will. 3, Miggy took Zonix, and then 4, I took YDC. So my plan, which I didn't tell anybody, was, well, I told DJ because I drafted DJ in the 2nd round. I said, if Mac's there in the 3rd, I want to grab him because I know like that's a steal. I knew that like you were not a 3rd round player. And crazy part was I had no idea that Mel was going to take you. So now the turmoil happens. They end up with the forfeits. I'm like, man, I gotta get this guy if I can. So we end up getting the trade. And from there, that I felt like that was at that time, that was your best season to date. Like you really balled out. You won MVP, you won co-MVP that season, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and you just took the reins. How was that for you? Like that season, and I'm not talking about like trying to big up myself, but how was that for you? Now you finally got to like, so how did that compare to the previous 2?
It just felt good finally being on a team that could compete. I'll put it that way because all the other teams I was with, we didn't even touch the floor. Offense was chaos, locker room was chaos, and the first team I was on, it was just, a one-man show. So it's like all my teams that I've been on up to this point, I've just haven't had very good success, whether it was me building my own team, which I'm sure you'll get to that at some point, but
Yep.
or whether it was just me being drafted. But I'm the type of guy that like if you want to pick me up, I'm gonna finish my season no matter what, whether it's good, bad, ugly, whatever. You know that.
Mm-hmm. I respect that too. So, and especially, we've all seen the quits. So respect the guy sticking around no matter what. So now fast forward. So now you've had 3 seasons as a player, 2 not so good, 1 decent one. We made it to the finals, didn't win. So that's why I said decent. It was a good run. I enjoyed that season. Now you switch roles and now you're the cap. So you were saying it wasn't so good. Like explain what happened that season.
All right, so I think what was it the first season that I drafted Zonix?
Yes.
I think so. Yeah. I was really excited to play with Zonix. Actually, I thought it was going to be a good 1-2 punch. With me previously winning the MVP at guard, and then him obviously doing what he does. But that didn't work out the way I thought because he was basically trying to run like a 5-out with people that weren't, great shooters, if that makes sense. Before you found your shot, you were kind of iffy yourself too.
Yep.
So he was trying to run it with, me, you, Viz. I forgot who the other person was, but it just wasn't gonna work. And with him trying to constantly force it, I'm like, yo, we're just gonna keep losing. Like you can't do it by yourself, bro. We gotta try to find a different solution. And he just wasn't hearing me. So I said, all right, I talked to a few people on the squad and I said, hey, we gotta get him out of here. And I mean, we didn't have super amounts of success, but the locker room was way better. We did get a win or 2, I think. And I mean, it was just better vibes. Everybody was getting the ball. Everybody was doing their thing. It didn't amount to wins, like I said, but the games were a lot closer. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yep.
So
I remember from that season too. So
yeah, people thought I
I
got
remember I
fleeced,
was
but
one.
at the
Yeah.
end, we saw what happened. Like it didn't even work out in the end because they didn't even get no wins either. So I mean,
So we ended up seeing the most, I guess, one of the most like shocking trades in league history of a top 3 at the time. Zonix was in his Zonix was a top 3 player at some point. I don't care when how you feel, whatever. But Zonix was a top 3 player. You see a top 3 player traded for a guy who ended up being considered a glue guy the following season, and I think we did get a forfeit out of it or something like that. Which, as you said, it ended up actually making it so our team made the playoffs that season, and their team missed the playoffs completely. And then, if I remember, we actually pushed the team that ended up making it to the finals. They didn't win, but they made it to the finals. We pushed them to like I think it was like 2 point games in the playoffs, something like that. So
Yeah, we
it,
did well because with the team being the way it was, we had some pieces there that didn't know what they were doing. Kind of. I'm not going to say no names, but we fought through it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That was
So I think if
that
we
was
had
fun.
a better piece at that position, we could have done some damage.
Yeah, yeah. So now we've now going through 4 seasons with Mac, right? Those were like okay, the MVP, co-MVP season, you balled out, but I still don't feel like you got the if I feel like there was no like, oh, Max really like he's that guy. He's like a real franchise player until no last season. So Mac now we had the season where he drafted as a cap. Now we had the free agency season. And you switched roles to a position you had not played in our league at any time, like not even for a single game before, which was center. And I do remember, like, I remember you saying a couple times, like, when we were on the same season, you're same team, you were saying, man, I got to run big next season so I can show them how to really run big. And I ain't gonna lie, because I'm a competitive guy. I want to be like the best big in the league. And I don't care if people don't agree with me, that's fine. Like, they don't have to feel that I'm the best big, but I'm going to match myself up with the other guys that I feel are challenging big. So when you were saying it, my pride was like, oh, what is this dude talking about? He acting like I ain't played well at center. And then you played center last season and you were walking like 20 and 15. So
Right.
now, you know what I'm saying? Like now you play center. So tell me what switch like first off, what made you run center? Because like I said, what made you kind of make that comment? Like what you're saying, I gotta show him how to play big. And I know it wasn't necessarily directed towards me, but it was just in like a general statement. But what did you mean? And then what made you run center? And why did you have such good success as an individual player playing center last season?
All right. So basically, the reason I wanted to switch to center was because, like I said, I came from PG, running championship offenses. And I'm like, yo, I don't think anybody's ever going to adjust to the way I want to play, like as a PG, if that makes sense. And I'm not going to, try to force anybody because at the end of the day, we're here to have fun, right? So basically, my thought process was if I can't play PG the way I want to play, I said I could definitely play center the way I want to play because people are going to miss shots. People are gonna, scramble. They're gonna need rebounds, and I said I got the perfect build for that. So I kind of just hopped on it, played a few games, and I played center before. Don't get me wrong. And the reason I said it like that is because I'm looking at all these other centers in the league. Sorry, my fault. No shot to them, but I'm like, y'all are barbecue chicken. So I said I'm gonna hop on this. I'm gonna hop on this center and show people how it's done, and that's exactly what I did. I just needed more support last season, if that makes sense.
I copy. So no, we appreciate it. We appreciate it. So Mac, you definitely become like, if not if most guys won't consider you a franchise player at this point, you're definitely a top 10 player out of 7 teams. That's high recognition, So just keep doing what you're doing. We're gonna see. I can't wait to play you guys this season. And I appreciate so far all of our our 3 guests coming on, giving you guys like perspective of the league and how your time here has been. And I guess I'll have one more question for each of you guys before we kind of wrap this up. I guess I would like to ask you guys what this season so far, what matchup are you guys looking forward to the most? And whoever wants to start us off.
It don't matter. I guess I'll start. I'm kind of looking forward to facing the Avengers, like Miggy. I mean, not Miggy, but Ace, Tay, you of course. That's a lot of firepower over there. And I feel like the team I got now, I think we can make some noise against y'all. I'm not gonna lie. Originally, I didn't want to play here. I was prepared to be a free agent. I've said that in the chat, and the reason behind that is because when Mel drafted me last time, we know how that went. So I told him, I'm like, look, I said,
I'm crying.
if I get any indication of you trolling or BSing, like It's like, don't waste my time, bro.
Banana splitting. Banana splitting. He means y'all.
Banana.
Yeah, basically I just made it straightforward to Danny, to Mel. I was like, don't waste my time, bro. Like, I'm here to play. I'm here to win. I'm tired of being on trash teams. I'm like, it took me a couple days to answer them. They was like, bro, stop trolling and this. And I'm like, no, I'm not trolling. I'm literally considering all my options. And I'm like, if there's a team and there's one player up there I don't like, I'm not joining. And they kind of threw a
Yeah.
team together, and I was like, okay, I'll try this out.
Yeah. I'm gonna just say this too. The team, y'all team as constructed, I actually got y'all, up there as a very challenging team to play against. So, just not kudos to you for joining with that team. We definitely make them into a big threat for every team. So, let's go to Mike. Who are you looking forward to playing the most so far?
Honestly, I'm looking forward to obviously playing the Avengers. As soon as last season ended, they changed the key code number to the gate. So yeah.
Oh man.
First of all,
It's,
hey, listen, Mike. BG can attest to this. You are actually one of the best teammates I've ever had. Like, actually. And like BG said earlier, I know y'all, everybody was talking, but we don't win that chip last season without you. But
I get it. I get it.
They sugarcoat Mike. They got rid of you quick, boy.
For real, man. The next even the day went by, they changed my code. They're like, yeah, you don't work here anymore.
Yep. He said, let me swipe the card again. Decline.
why everybody want to play against us, man? All right, well, give us your second best matchup. If everybody just going to say Avengers.
What's called for me?
My
at least I'm
second best.
excited.
There's a couple trash teams in the league. I'm not gonna lie, so I'm not looking forward to facing them.
Agreed to
And
that, man.
Mike's team actually surprised me. I'm not gonna lie. When we was in the team chat, I was calling them step back merchants and catch and shoot all stars. They got my respect for that game.
Wow, that's
Yo.
Yeah.
Speaking of,
the
that
truth
was a
comes
great
out.
game.
Yeah, it was. Yes.
That was
Yes,
y'all all hit big shots.
It was a good game, so they got my respect. We'll see if the other two teams will, get my respect. For respect purposes, I'm not going to name those two teams, but I think we all know who they are.
I don't know who they are. I think one of them is Avengers. We're probably trash, but let's get to Johnny real quick because before you give your second one, Mike, Johnny, give us two teams, Johnny. So two matchups you're looking forward to.
So obviously everybody said Avengers, so that's something that everybody wants in the league. And also the Stormtroopers, and also Chrome Elite, which is the Mac team, and Mel team. Obviously going against them again, for Little Vengeance is gonna be sweet. And I'm not gonna lie, you gotta respect. I gotta respect my man Danny that played last season with us. He made heck of a shot, heck of a shot. Weak, 3 point. It would have been ended. But it was good. It was good. I like that. It was a good, fun competition. Game. We were having fun and we enjoyed it. So those three teams right now, um, are the ones that I'm looking forward to. So at least one of them is going to be next week, right, Avengers?
Yeah, I think we play you guys tomorrow.
That is correct. That is correct.
Yeah.
Bring your 2-footers
probably
again
get one of
against
y'all
me if you
back
know
on.
it's good for you, Johnny.
I'll probably get one of y'all back on after we spank y'all.
Hey,
crazy.
I'm not gonna lie. It is true. It was true. We were trying something new too. It was something that we were trying on, but it was good. It was good. I enjoyed it. Not gonna lie, Mac. Don't worry about it. It's gonna be changed once we face you guys. even Mel told me. I wasn't expecting you to be playing Sandra, man. But still, it's gonna be changed, and we're just making adjustments. Seeing, even though we play with each other constantly, because we know each other. That doesn't mean that on the pro am we don't play pro am like we just play pro-am now together. We usually just play rec and have fun and whatever. So learning which spot is better for everybody, it's a learning process too. So even though we play together constantly, it's gonna be fun. Don't worry, Mac. It's gonna be changed. I can tell you that much.
We'll
Since
see.
That's
BG,
what's up. That's what's
since
up.
BG put y'all on the spot, I guess I'll put BG on the spot. So it's BG. Who's your two teams that you look forward to playing?
Well, definitely so far. Actually, and I'm a copy Johnny. I gotta go with three. I'm looking forward to La Familia. I have not played against them at all yet, but definitely been watching games and seeing some things that I think could work against them and so forth. But I'm looking forward to the game itself. So La Familia, definitely the Chrome Elite because I just like matching up with Mac. It's fun. It was fun every time I played against him last season. And then Stormhoopers, and the reason being Stormhoopers, of course, like there's the like I'm not gonna say rivalry, but the matching up with Miggy Sosa and them, that's always fun. So I'm looking forward to those. Like Crimson Cloud, I don't know what to expect with you guys, but those three teams so far, like those are the teams that are on my radar as far as like they're gonna be tough. You guys, I'm still trying to figure out. I think you guys are gonna be really sneakily tough because I think everybody's gonna underrate you until it's too late. Like you guys are gonna make some noise. And Ace with that, the hidden lost records or tapes that we mentioned, I had you guys a little bit higher in the preseason ranking than some people might have thought. So if that ever gets posted, you guys might hear that. But I do think you guys are going to be a good team too. But those three matchups, so La Familia, Stormhoopers, and Chrome Elite so far.
Hey,
And I do want to. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, sorry, I interrupted you. The only other one that is keeping on, and I want to play against them because I haven't had the chance either, and I see that they're pretty good on the pro-am. I can see that they play pro-am. Is La Familia. That one also is gonna make some noise, and I want to play against them because I can see that they know what they're doing. They're just running around and they don't know what to move them. No, they know what they're doing. So that's the other team and that I want to play. Sorry, I forgot about it.
Yeah, yeah, no,
Honestly,
and
at
you know
this
what's
point,
interesting? Go ahead,
uh,
Mike. Go ahead.
no, I was going to say something dumb.
Oh,
I was like,
I
at
was
this
just
point,
saying.
Johnny. Oh, my bad.
No, go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
No, at this point, Johnny just wants smoke with anybody. He's
Yeah,
ready.
yeah, I see that. I see that. I see that.
Not true, not true. I agree with Mac. There's two teams that I don't
Oh
want to.
man.
I don't want to name it. But
Oh
you
man.
can count it out right now. We're already
Hey,
five. So
say that
Man, I'm
again.
looking
Johnny
at them
wants
like
eh,
three
blood.
wins. Yes, sir.
yeah, oh yeah, definitely,
No man.
definitely.
Okay. We're gonna change. We're gonna pivot real quick. So so I just want to say this too. I feel like again, there's not really like it's funny y'all just said I don't feel like there's really bad teams right now. And I think that is going to be competitive up to the last week again. I'm just looking at the teams like we've already had two pretty much like bloodbath type like back and forth blows being traded type stuff. So and we've seen one team they lost now with an asterisk because the players monitor went out, but still like this is going to be anybody's championship in my opinion. And kind of a comment that Johnny made. Lineups really matter, and I can say this speaking for like the Avengers. We went into practice with a couple different lineups and got smoked, like, like smoked, and then we had to make some changes and things started clicking better. But so lineups matter, all that stuff matters. But definitely looking forward to this season. I hope we're. I'm assuming somebody's gonna quit, but we're hoping that doesn't happen. Hoping that everybody pays attention to the rules. Hoping that everybody tries to stick it out, make things work, and just have fun. I think that this should be a really fun season. It is our last season on this 2K until 2K26. With the playoffs should be the way it's set up. The playoffs should be wrapping up like within a week, maybe 2 weeks of the new 2K coming out. We don't want to run into a situation where you don't have time for the championship and so forth. So definitely appreciate you guys for joining us today and appreciate everybody for playing in the league. And as I always say, like we don't have a league without the players. So we appreciate you guys. We appreciate your input. Anytime you have suggestions, even if we don't get back to y'all, at least know that we are discussing it in the front office, and we're trying to make it so that everybody's able to have fun, first of all, and not first of all, have good association, first of all, second, have fun. So, always trying to make sure that we keep the league clean as far as association, and then again, have fun with our brothers. We all talk trash. Nobody takes it too far, thankfully, and we don't have any issues there. So appreciate everybody for just, keeping it that way. And like I said, appreciate you guys for joining us today. Ace, did you have any closing comments?
No, that was it. Yeah, you did everything.
Yeah,
Oh,
my closing comment is can we change the grace period, because the games are already late as crap. So I'm like adding another 15
yeah.
minutes on top of that for people being like late, because I gotta get up at 4:35 sometimes even 3. So starting the game at 11 o'clock when you're scheduled for 10:45, I'm like, come on, bro. Like make it 5 or 10 minutes. Like penalize people for being late.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've kind of been in talks about that. I definitely was talking to another front office member specifically that I think there needs to be a tweak to that to penalize. Like we can still have a grace period, but make it so that people aren't just using it willy nilly. And whether that, like, just throwing something out there, like whether that's like for every minute that they're late, that's a couple points added to what they have to win by or something, like, that way teams aren't just like, oh well, we just have an extra free 15 minutes. You know what I'm saying? So we'll definitely try to discuss that going forward, because I do agree with you. Like, emergencies happen, and if you're using a grace period every once in a while, no problem. But if your team is constantly using 15 minutes every time, that's pretty ridiculous. I agree.
Yeah, so like
So
people abuse it, including myself. I'll take accountability here because I look at the clock. If we got a 10:30 game and I see it's like 10:05, I'm like, oh, we got time to run a game. We got a 15-minute grace period. I know I'm not
yeah,
the only one
yeah,
doing that.
yeah,
Oh no,
yeah.
and
That's for
at
sure.
least on our end, and I agree with that with Mac, because I live in Puerto Rico, so when they did the hour change, what happened when I was playing with Tay at the beginning, it was an hour change. So the games were going to be 10:30 or 10:45, and then the 15 minutes it was starting at 12 a.m. in the morning, and I was at
Wow,
12 a.m. in the
wow.
morning, and then I had to wake up early to go to work. It
Yeah,
was tough. So I do agree with Mac on that, and that makes also, if you really want to play on the league, and you really want to enjoy it, like everybody needs to be on point. Like you made a compromise. You said, hey, I can play, I can be there, and then you're not there when we no, 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 it drives me nuts and crazy, crazy, crazy. So I
Well,
do agree
John,
with
I
Mac on
I
that.
agree. Yeah. We'll try to see. So make a note of that. We'll talk in the front office, maybe even this week. I don't know if we'll change it right away, but we'll try to make some kind of adjustment so that so the grace period is not just being abused. Um, and then we'll go from there. So I did have one last thing I was going to address before we wrap this up completely. So Mac, I know Mac had joked about how the front office, Chris Paul slash I guess whatever, Lakers, Hornets, whatever him. So I just want to throw this out there, Mac. That trade was crazy, bro. I'm just saying. I just got to throw that out there while we had you here. But for those that don't know, so Mac, last season there was almost a trade that went down. It was agreed upon, but was vetoed by the front office, which was I think Evan on his center. Um, um, sorry.
For
Okay.
Viz, we
Yeah,
we
yeah,
want
yeah.
to we want to Evan on lock for more scoring
Yeah,
option, because I saw him.
yeah.
I've seen him play on lock before, and he can get an easy 25. So I was like, I need that. I'm struggling. My guards, they're
Yeah.
shook out here. I don't know if it was like rookie. You know how rookies do. I even went through it in my first season, but the nerves were there for my guards. So I was trying to support them the best way I could. I'm getting 20 and 25, 32 and 25, and I'm like, we're still losing. So I just
Yeah.
needed that
So
extra support. So I was trying to trade for Evan for Viz, and it went through because they were having turmoil. That's what any good GM would do.
yeah, yeah, for sure. So I just want to say, promise you, we wasn't trying to cheat you, bro, but we want to keep the league as balanced as possible if we could. And so things happen. But again, appreciate you guys for coming through. We're gonna wrap this up now, and appreciate everybody. This is the fast break. And with that, we out.